Hey guys, my name is Teaira. I just wanted to get on here and talk about my son's tuberous sclerosis complex. When he was diagnosed with it, there wasn't a lot of information on the internet, YouTube, or anything for me to refer to anybody with a personal experience with it. So just a little bit of a background. At my 20-week anatomy scan, they found an extra piece of lung tissue. There was a small piece of extra tissue that was attached to his left lung, and that was causing his heart to be pushed over in towards the right side of his chest. They didn't know what his quality of life was going to be. They didn't know what caused it. They just wanted to keep a really close eye on him throughout the duration of the rest of my pregnancy. After that scan, we were seeing like once every 2 weeks. We had an ultrasound every 2 weeks up until I think about 32 weeks, and they bumped it down to once a week at the beginning of the week, and then we had a non-stress test at the end of the week. So twice a week we were being seen just to make sure that his heart was still functioning the way that it should have, and that his lungs, he was still doing the practice breathing. Then after he was born, he was fine. He came out breathing, and he was whisked away to the NICU after we noticed that he couldn't nurse, and that prompted a whole other set of testing where he couldn't eat and breathe at the same time. So he was put on an NG tube, and this is just a really brief overview. A lot happened. He was in the NICU for 2 months, but after they determined that they couldn't give the best care for him here, they couldn't give him what he needed to survive, they sent us out of town 2 hours away, and I couldn't stay with him there. I have 3 other kids, so he was 2 hours away from me, getting monitored and getting testing done to see what caused this, and if he needed surgery to remove it, because we knew that he was going to have surgery to remove it. They just didn't know when. They were hoping that it would be later on in his life, but not when he was so small. Eventually, you know, all the teams working on him, cardiology, nephrology, the kidney doctor, neurology, they decided that removing it when he was 2 months old was the best thing for him. He couldn't keep his oxygen up on his own. That was on his lung. So they opted to do the surgery at 2 months and have it removed, and then they did additional testing to try to figure out what else could have caused it. And then that's where neurology came in, and they mentioned tuberous sclerosis complex, which essentially is a multi-system disease. Pretty much it's a disease that makes tumors grow in the vital organs just for no reason at all, and it's a very, very, very rare disease. Causes seizures in about 85% of people, I believe is what I read. Causes these tubers to pop up in the brain, and when they pop up in the brain, it disrupts the connections. And when they found his, they noticed it was in the part of his brain, the right side of his brain, where learning difficulties are common, and seizures happen. So he was in the NICU. They were on their own trying to figure out his course of care, and after his surgery, he was in the NICU being monitored, still in the NG tube, being monitored and making sure that he can eat, and he was actually discharged on the NG tube because he was just having a hard time, and they figured sending him home would be better. And eventually he was released in April. He was officially done on his NG tube in September 2020. And as of right now, he has high blood pressure caused by the tuberous sclerosis is what they're thinking. He now has, I think, 5 tumors in his brain versus the 2 that he was diagnosed with. He has a cyst in each of his kidneys, and he has a tumor in his heart. And all these tumors are benign. They don't hurt him. Oh, well, I guess they're not cancers, but they're just watching him to see if the one in his heart is going to get smaller or if they have to intervene, which is not common by my understanding. And then there can be tumors in his eyes, his gums, his teeth, holes in his teeth, and tumors under his toenails and fingernails, and heart, lungs, pretty much they said the vital organs. So but he's doing well so far. He hasn't had a seizure. He's on track for his growth, and growth in all of his what he should be doing for a 1-year-old. But if there are any other mamas out there, mamas or dads out there, that you have tuberous sclerosis complex, or you have a child, or you're expecting a child with tuberous sclerosis complex, I'm not an expert, but I think coming together will be helpful, because I felt really alone when he was diagnosed with it, and I couldn't immediately go to YouTube and be like, okay, I need to see what he's gonna look like, I need to see what to expect. Couldn't find anything. So just let me know. Love you all.